Right, so this is just going to be an update video on the latest version of XBMC-Emustation. So it's been a couple of weeks, 3 weeks or so since the previous video, and a lot's changed again. There's a new layout for the folder structure. I've updated the scripts. Obviously I had to update scripts due to the change in the folder structures. But I've also updated the layouts, updated the Carbon synopsis layout, well, all the layouts. They now match the EmulationStation on the PC, RetroPie, etc. I have also made these menus consistent, so just adjusting the white balance there. So now when you go into them, they're all the same size, everything's uniform. The new folder structure, you don't need underscore emulators, underscore ROMs, or underscore previews, screenshots, etc. The media folder now holds the artwork for your specific system and the video files for that specific system, and I'll show you that. Since you will be running the older version, I made a script that will convert your underscore TBN and underscore previews folder to a media folder, because that's the most tedious part of changing over. So I do that for you, because I can tell you doing it manually ain't fun. Other than that, all you do is rename your emulators folder and your ROMs folder to just emulators and ROMs, and you place the media, ROMs and emulators folder into the .emustation folder and overwrite everything. That will mean your artwork, your emulators, saves, etc. for your emulators, and your ROMs will all be transferred into the new version. All the other underscore folders you can just remove because they're no longer used. You would then rescan your ROMs as well after that. You have to. So first thing, to get startup music, or say you have this in an arcade cabinet and you want the sound effects of an arcade in the background, then you can set up a playlist. You would just put the file into E music, F music or G music. You press A, creates playlist, that's it, that's you done. Basically that will parse subdirectories as well, so you can just fire as many folders in there as you want and it will just traverse them all, get the supported formats, MP3, M4A, I think it is, AAC, Apple Audio, OGG and WMV files are scanned. They are scanned for, sorry. UI settings has changed, I've just slightly reordered it. Home screen, or edit home screen, the home screen customization menu is changed. You can now set custom tiles, so you can have up to 3 custom tiles. So for instance, I'll show you. So there's a coin ops one, for example. So if you want coin ops, then you can have coin ops. Carbon theme color, if you set a specific color, it now shows in the label, so the label will now be the color of whatever color you entered as a hex color. Changing themes, same thing, left and right, but now you get a nice wee preview. I'll just show you the new Carbon one while I'm at it. So now for the Carbon theme, it now matches the EmulationStation. Obviously there'll be slight differences because there's some stuff I can't do, the EmulationStation can do, but for the most part it's 99% the same. In fact, some parts of it are better. Now a new feature, and why I said you would have to rescan your ROMs in anyway, is you can now choose artwork types. So in the media folder, so let's say use family computer, Famicom as an example. So .emustation, media, Famicom, and inside that folder you will have 6 folders. You will have box art 3D, logo, mix, screenshots and videos. Now box art, you can just put your plain 2D flat box art in there. 3D box art, logos can be title screens or logos of games. So if using the FastScraper.bat, you can scrape your ROMs and you can get images for them. So you can get mix images, you can get logos, you can get 2D, 3D, you can get mix 4 logo images, which is mix images are screenshot, box art, logo, and the mix 4 version is a cartridge as well. So it's the same but with cartridge. I prefer the mix 3 ones. That's PC side. So essentially you download FastScraper.bat and you can scrape your ROMs if you have them on your computer, and then you can transfer the images over because images are named the same as the ROM file names. You can also parse the GameList.xml that's created with it. I've got a Python script that I made that will parse that and create synopsis files for them, and in doing so you will get synopsis information, how many players, what genre it is, developer, etc, etc. So if your ROMs aren't supported in the current synopsis files, you can make your own ones now. Simply, it's a Python script, so you need to install Python on your PC. So yeah, so you can have screenshots as well. So I'll set it back. What else? So new favourites menu. So the favourites menu now matches the themes. It's whatever theme you're using. If you create a new theme, you would need to create a favourites layout for it, which can just be the same as your normal layouts, but just the ID is 450 instead of 9000 or 50. Options has been skinned. It uses the default theme. There's a bug there with the X button. I'll fix that. You can come in, calibrate your screen, which I've updated to better represent the screen. Basically when you calibrate your screen now you can see, so if it's like squished and stuff like that. Oh crap, shouldn't have done that. You can now view the welcome screen if you want to again. The file manager has been updated. I've fixed the file size has been off, so they're now back. Sorry. I'll show you that script that I was talking about. So, and I'll quickly show you the new layouts. So on the right you've got the old layout, on the left you've got the new layout. So it's a lot cleaner as you see, and when you download this you will have these folders except the game lists folder. Now that's created on the Xbox when you scan your ROMs in. So media folder looks like this, and on the right you have the old layouts, which is basically just TBN's previews. So if you're upgrading, so if you're moving to the latest version and you have a whole load of ROMs and a whole load of previews etc set up, you can go to the scripts, not for normal use, and you can use the convert old layouts, or convert old layout to new media layout. So what you do is you press A, you then navigate to your old TBNs folder. Now if you have custom paths then you can just go to that and do that. Select the TBNs folder, select the previews folder. I will then move everything. I will then tell you that you rename your underscore emulators folder to just emulators and your underscore ROMs folder to just ROMs, and then you move them into this folder. So the new media folder is now done, and your box art's been moved into the proper location, and your videos as well, and all the folder structure's been created. So you just move that over there, rename, move over there, and rescan your ROMs, and you're back up and running. So what else? One thing added to the scanning of ROMs is when you select it now, you get a choice if you would like to use the names inside the synopsis files. What these names are the proper name for the ROM. Now obviously because it's on the Xbox, we're limited to the FATX file system's character limit, which is 42 characters. That's including extensions, so that's the whole thing. So you can only have 42 characters long. Now most ROMs, or not most ROMs, but there will be a lot of Japanese ROMs or foreign ROMs that have quite long file names, and you have to truncate them to fit on the Xbox hard drive. So by selecting yes, you can have the proper name, but there's a downside to it. So if you don't use preview videos and you don't use the screenshot, the extra artwork or the extra screenshot on the XPR theme, then you can just pick yes and you will get the proper names and it will look nice. Now the other downside to it is if your ROM's order, so say Andre Agassi Super Tennis World Cup, right, that's not a game but I'm just making that up. If you've named it Andre Agassi Super Tennis World Cup and the synopsis file says Super Tennis World Cup, it doesn't have the Andre Agassi at the beginning, what will happen is you'll have Super World Cup or Super Tennis World Cup down at the A section of your ROMs. That's because the way the ROM list is written is done alphabetical, so it's based on the ROM's names. There's bugger all I can do about it. So, well, there is, but it would involve writing files to the hard drive and then rereading them, and it would take twice as long to create your ROM list. So if you're using artwork, different artwork, if you want the screenshots feature, if you're wanting preview videos, etc., use the no. Okay, and I'll just scan in Game Gear because there's no many. So if you want it to be pretty and to have semicolons and the in the names and, you know, basically the proper naming for your ROMs, pick yes. But I generally just use the ROM names, because if you use the Resurrection Extras ROM sets, they're all named properly, or for the most part they're named properly. So yes, what else? Full screen visualization. I can't remember if that was in the last video. If you use Fast Scraper, you can download video files with it as well, which are MP4 format, and the Xbox plays them brilliantly. God, what else? Most of the changes are back end. Most of the changes are to the file structure, the scripts, the layouts. All the layouts have been updated. I'll just set it back to default. And you can see the favourites menu. If we can change to default, just get a list. But synopsis is the best. What else? I think I went through those. You can set the media folder custom paths. It's normal. I removed some of the stuff that's not needed anymore, like the convert TPN to PNG, because most people who are using this will either be coming in when it's only PNG, and the people who were using it ages ago would have already updated and ran the script, so it's no longer needed. I'll show you the visualizations and stuff. I added visualizations, so now you get full screen visualizations, so you get information on the album, what's next, etc, etc, as you'll see in a second. So this menu's changed as well, and why the hell does the colour never seem to look right in this damn phone? That's red, no orange. Press back button, takes you into full screen visualization, and you get artwork and stuff. The controls for music, you don't technically get a button overlay, so A does nothing, X brings up the player controls, etc. And in the middle there is a new cog which appears only when you're in the full screen visualization. If you select that, it takes you into the Milkdrop Settings. If you press down on it, it will take you into the Milkdrop presets. Now the B button, when at this point, will lock the current preset, and you will get an orange bar that runs across the top of the header, or the top of the footer image, and that tells you that you've locked that specific visualization. Now as you can see in the middle there's a big D-pad. Now the way I done this was I wanted something that was simple to use. So for instance, if you have an arcade cabinet, I'm assuming arcade cabinets simulate the directional pad and not the analog stick. I assume the analog stick would be based for a roller ball or a trackball, whatever you call them. But the D-pad, you push up to play, up to pause, right to skip a track, left to go back a track, and down to stop. Now the reason I done this was because you can then use the arcade stick, you can push it up to pause, push it up to play, flick it right, flick it left to go forward back a track, and whatever buttons you've set to the triggers will fast forward, rewind, etc. But you've now got a jukebox feature. So it's a kind of jack of all trades kind of thing, you know. Yeah, I've kind of shown the main things, the things that people kind of care about. Oh, the images, these artwork types are system specific, so you can have different ones for different systems. So if you only can find 2D artwork for one system, then you just set it to box art. If you can get 3D for one but not the other, then you can set it to 3D, etc. They're all system specific. That's why you have to rescan your ROMs in. Neo Geo CD is a direct launch only. Currently it's not, but it is now when this is released. Because the emulator doesn't support command line launching, and I had a look at the source and I couldn't make heads or tails of it. It's all over the place. So yeah, I removed the entry for the Atari Jaguar CD because there isn't one, it's just the Atari Jaguar emulator. So I had one in there that shouldn't actually been in there. God, what else? There's a change log. The problem is I can't remember. I'll need to remove the enable navigation sounds because it doesn't. Well, it will work with the default theme, but the way when you change themes, you can now have sound effects for those themes. So I either need to update the script or just remove it, and I might just remove it because if you want to turn the sounds off, you can do it via the settings. God, is there anything else? Oh, I'll show you the videos playing. So I changed this layout to kind of more closely resemble the EmulationStation one. Unfortunately, you can't get an auto widle. Wow, don't know why I said that. You can't get auto wide with images in a group list. You can only do it with labels. So unfortunately there's a lot of white space between the left hand side of the screen and the labels. That's due to systems that have wide artwork, like the SNES, N64, etc. N64 updated the parser or the script to parse this, or create the surreal, or modify this, add the ROM locations into the surreal.ini and the surreal-ce.ini, which is stored in the saves, the T-data folder. Yeah, saved. It's in the save folder in the T-data folder. So what that does is that allows ROMs just to launch straight off the bat. You may have noticed if you used this prior that if you scanned them in, you might end up, it would ask you for ROMs. You'd have to enter the ROM path before it would do anything. For some strange reason, the Surreal emulator doesn't like folders with a dot in front of it. It treats them as hidden, just like a Unix file system does. So the way around it is I just add the ROM paths to those two files. If they don't exist, I create them. But what it means is it's seamless for the user. So for instance, I'll just launch this one. And as you see, it'll just load straight in. Now, the ROM pack, the way I scan for ROMs and for N64 ROMs is I parse the surreal.ini and I get the ROM names based in that. So if your ROM names don't match the surreal.ini ROM names, then it won't find them, or it might crash, or it might error out. I'm not entirely sure, but I recommend you use the N64 ROM pack from Earthworm Jim on the ISO Zone forums. He created one with 156 ROMs. Stop that. 156 ROMs, all pre-configured, all controls done, settings done best they can for the emulator, etc. So essentially you just download that, put it in the emulators folder, put the ROMs into the proper ROMs folder, scan them in, and they'll be like you see here. The reason I parse the surreal.ini is so that I can get the synopsis information and the artwork. If I don't parse that file, you won't have any artwork and you won't have any synopsis information. And unfortunately with the Surreal emulator, it uses random, I assume it's some sort of serial code that's on the cartridge or box or something like that they're based on, but without reading the surreal.ini you won't get the artwork. So I do that when I parse it. That's the reason why I read that file. It's the only reason. So yeah, can't think of anything else. There'll be a changelog with it. Basically, everything's just refined now. I spent the last 3 weeks just doubling down, fixing stuff, improving stuff, making it more user friendly, increasing RAM, so you get more RAM now. So videos play perfect, everything just works. Some new features like the full screen visualization. I had to modify the source code again to get that working because for some strange reason everything in XBMC seems to be hard coded to specific locations. So it's not like it runs in its root directory, it's all hard coded, so it's all specific paths. So yeah, pain in the backside, but I might add other visualization presets at some point. I'll just modify the source, build them, include them, but as of right now it's just Milkdrop, and it comes with thousands and thousands of presets, so there'll be one for somebody out there. I like the one using. So yeah, I can't think of anything else. I've not got the changelog in front of me, but there's 20 odd things that have changed. And it's not just one specific thing, there's quite a lot's changed. But yeah, that'll be the latest version. About probably, oh god, this is Sunday, isn't it? So it'll be out today or tomorrow. I just want to make sure there's no issues There's no issues scanning ROMs, there's no issues with anything, and when that's done then it'll be on my GitHub for you ready to download. So yeah, I'll put the current changelog in the description, just in case I have forgot something. So anyway, right, cheerio.